Tom and Saul, excited to have you guys. Prior to this, we were talking about just what firm owners are doing, and how they're leading through adversity over the last, several months, and then of course into the future. I know you guys have been up to a great deal. What have been some of the main challenges that you guys have overcome in the last few months?
Well, I'm going to say this, very few. We've been very fortunate. We planned to shut down before we shut down, and everybody was able to work remotely. And I can tell you, looking at the hour logs, which we keep for a variety of reasons, the associate and partner time was up during the pandemic, during the 3 months that we were closed.
So, Mike, I'd like to shout out to my partner here. We were, I think, one of the first firms as this thing was breaking to go remote. And I think, with Sal's guidance, we were ahead of the curve. And a lot of our attorneys already work remotely, but to the extent that our staff, and we went out and bought some additional computers and devices for them to be able to work remotely. We tested it early, and it was pretty seamless. So other than opening some mail, we even had folks doing that for us that were able to get into the office from time to time to do some scanning. It was really seamless, number one. And then on the tail, again, we made a decision to, as soon as the governor allowed us to get back in, to bring folks back carefully with appropriate social distancing, and it's been pretty seamless. So we're actually thrilled with the way our team has responded to what we've put in play, and it's been a good eye-opening experience for all of us.
Now, so in terms of how you guys responded, obviously you were very, very proactive, but that was atypical. That was certainly not the case amongst most law firms across America, and even in Philadelphia. Was there any prior experience that you guys had, like maybe even years ago, that you believe had prepared you for a situation like this?
Only that we now have a shareholder, Tracy Finken, who is raising 4 boys, and she works exclusively from home unless she's on the road taking depositions or whatever she's doing. And that experience informed us on how we could do this the right way from home. Mm-hmm. So we had people working from home before this started.
So for you guys, it didn't matter where they were, whether they were in the office or working remotely. I mean, that was already set up. Things were cloud-based.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So then let's say, as this is breaking, and even over the last several months, I think that has presented itself, perhaps new opportunities. I believe you guys have pivoted in some of like the business interruption claims and so on. Like, I guess, talk me through some of the opportunities that you've seen.
Well, we've been fortunate. Tom and I actually looked at our new case inventory, and in the 3 months that we were working remotely exclusively, the firm brought in more than 1,200 cases, new cases.
Technology has been just essential for us, obviously, and the ability to communicate with partners and law firms all over the country in business interruption, in Zantac specifically, where folks were able to reach out to us and to be prepared with our staff to communicate, electronically, and beyond that, to be able to communicate with the clients electronically as well has really been a godsend.
So there's something you said. People are going to be watching this, and if I don't ask this, people are going to think it's a huge missed opportunity. You mentioned in the last several months you guys brought in 1,200 new cases. Now, to the firm owners across America that may not have brought 1,200 new cases in, would you be willing to share just some insights in terms of what is allowed for that?
Well, we are virtual. We try to communicate with new clients through texting or email, and our staff was fully ready to accept the challenge. And we had a couple of really new referrers that we haven't seen cases from before send us business, and we actually received those cases and clients in a new fashion. And so we could open them up in our system with less than an hour per client, which is something we've never done before.
Okay. So,
And I'd add, Mike, just to fall back on the same, some of the technology we're using has really made it much more seamless. And in fact, some of our new business partners are thrilled with what we're doing and have adopted some of that themselves. The ability to communicate by email and e-blast, everybody can do that, but by reaching out to clients, we're working with their emails much more today than we have in the near past.
and on that note, so it sounds like you basically were leaning on the network a bit, in terms of like your network and other referral sources and so on. What was like the communication that you were putting out to them as this is happening?
Well, that's another good question. So the business interruption team did Zoom conferences or Blue Jeans, because we prefer Blue Jeans, to potential clients, business clients. And there'd be 3 or 4 of us on each call, along with, if there's a referring law firm, some of their people on the call. We answered questions. We got information out in real time, developed a 1-page fillable PDF, which would allow us to get all the information we needed to look at the cases. That's on the business interruption side. Mm-hmm. And on the other mass tort side, we did whatever we had to do. A lot of video conferences as well. I know that Tom has had, on the Zantac side, Tom and Tracy have had conferences with clients. We bought into a new system so we can, I believe, host, is it 3,000 people on a call, Tom? Is that correct?
I think that's correct, Sal. And what we're essentially going to do is what we're doing right now, Mike, which is a webinar, but we now have the ability to host, more than 1,000 or several thousand of our clients to get information to them in real time, to deliver to, so that they know who we are. They can see us communicating with them like we are right now, and our staff. So, for us, it's been really good.
And we also picked up some one-off cases as well, Michael, during this time period, and some of them are very substantial. I don't think we're going to see a downturn in fees until sometime next year, because in our one-off cases, the courts aren't open for trial. Mm-hmm. We probably had 15 cases, big cases, that were going to go to trial this year that will be deferred into next year. But we've done mediations virtually. Things are going as well as they can go. We're real happy at our staff. And I'll give you one little tidbit. When we had the protests and riots in Philly and across the country, Tom and I decided that we were going to have a contest for our staff. And we gave them, I think, 10 or 12 minority charities that they could pick. They got it down to 3, and we now have an incentive program. So by the end of November, if they meet benchmarks that they're going to create, we're going to donate the firm over $50,000 to the 3 organizations combined.
Excellent. Good for you guys. So it sounds like it's been a mix between staying active, communicating with clients, partners, team members, being active in the community. I mean, it's just basically just being consistently proactive. So were there things that you've been doing over the last 3 months that perhaps you weren't doing previously, but will continue even beyond COVID?
I would say that we have probably more regular team meetings. I think we have to, with the staff that we have, to make sure everybody's on the same page and doing the same things. And without getting carried away, trying to keep those Zoom meetings relatively short, but making sure everybody understands what their roles and responsibilities are. And I think when we're in the office, it probably happens a little less frequently.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. We've learned to communicate better and more frequently.
Excellent. So, to close this out, for someone who's watching, let's say that they have not been as proactive to this point, what advice would you have for them in terms of what they can do? Let's say it's a single event firm. Their intakes are down. They're also worried about trials being pushed and things like that. What would you say to them?
technology.
And Mike, I'll give a shout out to you and your organization. You know, some of the ideas that Sal and I are running with, you know, not every last one, but, you know, through our workshops with you, we've seen a couple that we really liked and, you know, implemented, and we've been pleased in that regard that we've seen real good uptick in productivity and, you know, kind of in the culture of what we're trying to put together here.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. We certainly appreciate it, and I appreciate all these insights.